In this section, I'd like to talk with you about encouraging and getting what we call audience participation. If you can get people engaged with what you're saying, they're going to hear what you have to say. You won't bore them. You're not going to lose them. So you have to ask yourself, and we'll have you put this in the question following the video, what gets you involved when you're listening to a speaker? Or even if you're listening to the television, what engages you to listen to the report on the news or even the even the comedy that you're watching? What gets you involved? One of the things that definitely gets you involved will be movement. Movement of hands. If you can move away from the podium every so often, that does. We're going to talk about graphics here in a moment. Almost every church now has some kind of projector, and projectors and the graphics you're using can get you involved or push you away at the same time. But you have to ask yourself, what keeps me involved? I mean, it's got to be an interesting sermon. It needs to be filled with things that make me think. I have heard from some young people that one gal in particular said, I come to church to veg out. Well, that's not what listening to a sermon and being in worship is all about. You're actually there to participate. So if you have people sitting in the congregation that are thinking, gee, did I turn the oven on to the right temperature? And did I put the settings on right? And are we going to get to the baseball game or the football game in time? And I hope this pastor, and you see him do this, doesn't go too long. You've lost those people. They're worried about something else. So you have to have a way to get them involved, to get them engaged, to make it exciting, to make them want to hear more. Now, I always ask the question when people say, oh, you went over the hour today, Pastor. I say, if you're at a Penn State football game and it goes into overtime, are you going to get up and leave? The answer is no, because there's an excitement about the game, and there's an excitement to see Penn State win, and it's in overtime, and rah, rah, rah. You got to get that same kind of energy. People are going to draw energy from you, from your message. You're going to draw energy from your audience. So I mentioned movement, involvement. We have to figure out ways to do that. This is all based on your style, too. Again, videotape yourself. Get your spouse or children to tell you what they think, but be ready for brutal honesty in certain cases. The more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. You can get people involved with the slides that you're creating for your sermons. You want font sizes that are at least, this is a minimum, 24 point. I usually go 32 and above. The smaller the font, the harder it is to read. The harder it is to read, the more it's going to get ignored. The more it gets ignored, the faster you're going to lose them. Look at how much info you're putting on your slides. If you have heavy-duty slides with lots of stuff on it, whether it's drawings or words or whatever, they're not going to read it. You've lost them. And the background. We were doing motion backgrounds for a long time on these types of slides that you're seeing in this video. And what I'll tell you happens is people watch the motion and they totally miss what's on the foreground, which is what you're talking about. I would recommend static background slides. Not all black, not all white. This one's I'm not even sure what kind of papyrus thing it's called. Different color backgrounds are nice. Blended backgrounds are nice. Don't put motion backgrounds on them. That's just... Now, if you're doing a music video, yeah, the backgrounds do move in motion videos. That's part of what they are. But to listen to your sermon, go simple. Simple is the best. Simple colors. There's lots of designs in PowerPoint. All of them work. So you can get a little fancier, but make them static screens. What I'm going to ask you to do in the questions below is to just give us some of your ideas and what you've run into throughout your life so that we can share with each other what we've learned through the years.